What's up YouTube, Duel here from Zephyr War Games, and today I'm bringing you another commentary on top of a live duel from locals. So on the top we have Yugioh playing Sprights, obviously post ban list, and on the bottom we have Patrick playing Labrynths. I really wanted to see what Labrynths can kind of do this format and kind of see where it goes. So we start off, Yugioh is playing Foolish Burial. He is playing the adventure version, so this card's cracked because it literally gives him full access to the adventure plays, which means even if his opponent's got Nibiru's, Imperms, Ashes, anything to stop Gigantics, that technically his opponent needs 2 cards to do so. And then once you resolve Gigantic, it's kind of obviously downhill from there on. So obviously activates Enchantress, no Gamma, sadly no hand trap from Patrick. It looks like he's opened up Chandelier, Stove, and I didn't quite see the other ones. It looks like he'd already opened up, Yugioh's opened up Fateful Adventure, so he's going to activate Rite of Armoricia. This is going to spawn him a token. Opening up Adventure just means you lose a bit of advantage, because obviously otherwise it would be a free card that would be summoned through, or a free card, sorry, that would be set through Rite. However, opening it up does mean that by summoning the token, it will trigger its effect early to get the Draco back, and then you can use the effect to discard the Draco back, search out Griffin. I mean, everyone should kind of know what Adventure do by now, but I'm just kind of highlighting them. So Patrick's got Chandelier and Stove. Both of them are quick effects, and it will let him set a Labyrinth card. The question is whether he tries to trigger them early on the activation of Griffin. Personally, I might have tried that, because then it would have guaranteed that he would have got at least a welcome Labyrinth from the deck. Anyway, that doesn't happen, so Griffin comes onto the board, activates Sprite Starter, so literally he's got near enough full combo without even needing to conduct a normal summon. Summons out blue, takes the 1100 off of blue. Small price to pay for being able to go full combo, and this is the new version involving Corrupt Ridley as well, so you'll also get to see that. So he smashes, blue search out Jet, special summon orange from the hand, and then special summon Jet off of the search from blue. Jet will then search out either Smashers or Starter, and it looks like he's going for Smashers, just to kind of deal with any pesky floodgates or something that might cause a bigger issue on top of already having the Griffin. And then, yeah, this point is it's free. Everything is free from this point on. It's absolutely crazy, because he did the Griffin, he did the Adventure before he even conducted activated Starter, which means he wasn't locked into Link 2s or anything like that. Summon out Gigantic. Attempt to use Gigantic's effect. Now, I mean, Patrick could try and use a hand trap here. It probably would get met with the Griffin, so unless he's opened up like Imperm Veiler, I can't see this being stopped, sadly. So this will then special out Nightmare Corruptor Ridley, and then the way it works from here is you would link Corruptor Ridley with Gigantic to go into Sprite Elf, trigger Ibley's effect in the graveyard to give Ibley to your opponent. While your opponent controls Ibley, they can't special summon at all, so no nibs, no special from decks, anything like that, except link summoning. So unless Patrick has a very, very lucky, I would say, sorry, unless Patrick has a lucky, like Link Karibo or Lingaribo in his extra deck, this isn't going to happen. Plus, obviously, Griffin, I'm confused as to why Elf is in the middle of the zones. That makes no sense. I was going to say, this is weird, because Elf is pointing to Orange and Griffin. But that's just not even possible. It should be pointing to the token or orange. So the board's a little bit skew-if at the moment. I mean, that's why I try to get people to play using zones, using the zone mats, but everyone wants to use their own. Anyway, starts off with Extrav. I'm assuming, I don't know how Labrynths get rid of Ibley apart from something like a Torrential Tribute. But even then, you're still facing, I mean, orange is going to deal with a monster effect. Griffin will deal with anything, and then obviously he's got Smashers to deal with a back row. It looks like the hand is still Chandelier and Stove plus Welcome Labyrinth. Is this going through? Yeah, it's going through. So he's drawn another trap. I'm not too sure what trap he's drawn on that one. Says Welcome Labyrinth. Stove, Chandelier. It looks like an Ariana and possibly another Welcome Labyrinth, which is a bit ouch. Obviously, Welcome Labyrinth is now pretty much completely dead because you can't special summon. Sad days. So we normal summon down the Ariana. Ariana's effect to, I believe it sets or searches out a Labyrinth card or a Labyrinth spell and trap. So he's obviously going to try and go for the field spell. I suppose the question here is, does he then Griffin, which is exactly what Yugioh's going to do. So Griffin the Ariana, big sad on that one. And then there's still, I'm assuming, like, I can imagine that Patrick possibly plays a Link 2, maybe. So it might have been worthwhile just normal summoning and then getting into a generic Link 2. Speaking of Link 2, we get Muckracker in Darkwind Blast. So that could be a really good Link 2 for this deck as well. It helps you protect your Fiends, revive Fiends and everything like that. So that would be interesting to see. Is that a D barrier? Is he main decking D barrier? Anyway, Elf, bring back Blue. Blue, search out, Jet. And then he's pretty much going to get full resource back afterwards. That might be a Dogmatica punishment as well, to be fair. Which, if it is, that's pretty strong because that's two spot removals. So you're probably going to be aiming to get rid of... I mean, you're going to hope that Smashes doesn't hit it in the end phase if his opponent tries to use Smashes in the end phase. And then you'd probably go punishment. Oh, he's scooping it up. Okay. That's interesting. I mean, I suppose you couldn't target Blue. I mean, the Elf positioning is completely wrong. Why that is center, I don't know. But yeah, moving on to game 2 anyway. It looks like Patrick's opened up a lot better. So he's got Anti-Spell, he's got Stove, he's got Chandelier. These are a big risk because like they both discard as cost, which is nice, but you can't really Gamma because, well, you could, but you ultimately end up locking yourself into Fiends, which can be quite damaging. It'll be interesting to see if he plays the Lord of Heavenly Prisons now that it's been reprinted. But it looks like his opponent's opened up Duster. But luckily for Patrick, he's also opened up Anti-Spell. So he sets the Labyrinth field spell, which is interesting. But basically what that does is when you activate Welcome Labyrinth, Welcome Labyrinth gets an additional pop, which is pretty cool. So it does give you a form of interruption, but the issue with it is it specifically requires... So I think it's like if you activate Welcome Labyrinth as part of its resolution gets an additional effect to pop a card. If you activate a normal trap card that is not a Labyrinth card, I think you get to reset one from the grave or revive one from the grave. So we've got Anti-Spell, which obviously isn't a normal trap card, what looks like an Imperm, and then what looks like a Dogmatica punishment. So, I mean, the back row's pretty strong. The issue is there's just no monsters. He's very lucky with the Anti-Spell, otherwise he's going to get blown out by Harpy's Feather Duster. So, draw phase, standby, activate Anti-Spell. So I can see from Yugioh's hand, he's got what looks like a Duster. Is that Swap Frog still? Yeah, so Duster, Swap Frog, Jet. I suppose like Anti-Spell isn't the biggest issue for the deck, but for Sprights. But what this is going to allow Patrick to do is, technically with the Harpy's Feather Duster as well, is it's going to allow him to continue to play. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on here. Punishment is a pop 2, and it will revive a Stove, but it locks him out of the extra deck. Not that Patrick really worries about that too much. Oh no, that's not punishment. Is that Underroots? Oh, okay, so he's going to activate Welcome Labyrinth. So this special summons a Fiend from the deck and then locks him into Fiends for the next turn. So it's basically like a Dogmatica punishment, but less restrictive. So you can only special summon Fiends from the main deck and from the extra deck, but you can special summon whatever you want from the hand, which is why Lord of Heavenly Prisons I think is pretty cool in this deck. And I also quite like the Amazements in this deck. It just gives you a main deck boss monster that can then set normal trap cards. The issue is to trigger the effects of the Labrynths, which is when an opponent's monster leaves the field via a normal trap card. You can only play like 2 Amazement cards, which aren't the greatest. One is Banished till the end phase, and one is when it activates its effect, return it to the hand. So it can all be a little bit hit and miss. Anyway, so it looks like I can't see what he's activated. Oh, he's activated Evenly Matched. Oh, big oof. And then he's just going to... Oh, he doesn't even Duster. He just Talents. Look at the hand. Oh, shuffle back the Welcome Labyrinth. This is... Oh, no. And Duster. Oh, no. It was Underroots as well. So Underroots, I think, is like you target one in your opponent's graveyard or one on your opponent's field, and then you switch it with one in their graveyard. It's just a nice way of like non-target removal on the board, I believe. This is broken. Like, he's opened up Talents, which takes away all of Patrick's hand advantage, if there was any. Dust, evenly matched to break the board. I suppose like the best thing Patrick could have done was have kept the anti-spell, and then he doesn't face Talents, he doesn't face Duster, and he doesn't face Prosperity, which would have kept him, which would have made him or allowed him to maintain the Labyrinth. Even then, like, Patrick still gets, or Yugioh will still be able to go, because we saw he had a Toad and a Jet, so you probably would just risk that the rest of his hand is all spells. But yeah, that's very damaging. I can't see a way of Patrick coming back from this. It's just too much. The fact you've got no cards, I don't think there is a single card in the deck that Patrick top decks and breaks everything. Especially if Yugioh is able to put an Omni to get on the board. Like, even if you top deck your own evenly matched, which is weird to keep in if you're going first, unless you're playing like big brain plays of playing of activating cross out with an evenly, which would be like boom, brain blown. So it looks like we've pretty much got starter, blue, Jet, and he's obviously summoned down the Griffin early so that he didn't get level locked, and then he's just pretty much building on from there. So yeah, this is relatively full combo. Like, I can't. I suppose at this point you're just waiting for, or Patrick's probably waiting for Yugioh to misplay, but Swap Frog comes out. Swap Frog will dump a Swap Frog. He's obviously still got the Swap Frog in the hand that he hasn't normal summoned, I believe. Yeah, there you go. So normal summon the Swap Frog. Like, this is just broken. Like, this isn't even Ibly combo. This is just, no matter what Patrick top decks, unless it's something like an Ultimate Slayer, even the Dark Ruler no more does nothing. If it's an Ultimate Slayer, he sends, like, you can only send one or two. And even then, the Toad would then recycle the Swap Frog. Yugioh would then maintain a bit more advantage. So yeah, it's just, yeah, this isn't good, sadly. It's just one of the ones where you open up all the answers, I think he got smashes off of Jet, so he has a way, in theory, to clear next turn as well. So even if he was to go Ultimate Slayer, send Elf to the grave, and then attempt to use the graveyard effect to try and send Toad, Toad would then negate it. Obviously couldn't set it, but he would still have smashes to kind of keep playing the next turn. So set one, I would probably, in my opinion, I would smashes that. So like, I would elf back something. It's weird that he brought back blue last turn, but I suppose you just bring back Jet and still get the same outcome. So Jet would go. Jet would get the effect, get the starter, and then I wouldn't even risk it. I would just smashes, get rid of it. Yeah, exactly that. And it was it's a D barrier. Oh, so sad. Yeah, banish the smashes, banish that, get rid of blue, draw for turn. He's got the starter, which let him go full combo. He's still got elf, which is going to let him bring back. So I think, how do you win it from here? You'd go blue, take the burn. Blue searches you out. I don't know what you'd search out. Anything, I suppose. So he's gone for another Jet. Jet summons, Jet search out. Give him another starter, so that can be used during your opponent's turn. Should you absolutely mess this up, I would personally use Elf with any of the sprites to make Gigantic a 3200 beat monster. So then you've got 32, 22, 54. So then all you've got to do is 26 left, and you've got 2 more monsters on the board. How's that coming back? Did I miss something? That's the Gigantic. Trying to think how Swap Frog came back. Did he elf? I thought he elfed the thingy, but yeah, if he hasn't elfed, he just brings Toe back. There's your 3200. And then all you need to do is use Jet plus whatever. Or is that game already? Nah, that can't be game. 1000 off of swap. 32. Has Patrick already taken damage? I don't think he did. And it'd be 1100. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why. Unless I've miscalculated, that's not game. Like, all Yugioh needed to do was overlay. So it leaves his opponent on 500. But yeah, if he had overlaid Jet with any of the either swap or blue into any rank 2, he could have poked for game. He can't Zeus? What's going on? He's going to another elf. I mean, he could have even linked into... Is elf strong enough? No, elf would have been 200 short. What is going on? Linking into IP. I mean, I think at this point he's really overthinking it. So he should have gone Sky Cavalry in the last one, and then he would have been able to attack the game, and then that would have been it. There would have been like game over, no worries, and kind of leave it there. So Patrick's going to draw for turn. It's an anti-spell. There's like literally, I don't think there's any top deck Patrick could have got that would have done anything. I think Yugioh should have just finished it off then and there. Anyway, it's a bit sad we didn't get to see Labrynths actually go for it and do anything, which is a big shame. It definitely gets stronger with Darkwing Blast. It'll be interesting to see from there. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share for more Duel videos and general content. With all of that out of the way, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.